Amber Hinds, welcome to PressConf.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
I've been saying this all along, and I'll continue to say it. We don't have a title for this podge, so we're just calling it PressConf. It's going to be, the run up to PressConf. You can find more information at pressconf.events, and head on over to that website. Grab your tickets, April 23rd through the 26th, Tempe, Arizona. Did you go to the older Pressnomics back in the day?
I went 1 year to Pressonomics, just one. It was when I was first getting started and I was barely budgeting for travel. But I did go 1 year and I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah. Hopefully we can take this exciting new chapter and bring what I've been, well, not just me. I'm certainly not taking credit for it, but everyone's sort of hungry for a different kind of community connection these days, for lack of a better phrase. Like, we want to get together. WordCamp US was a little strange last summer. You and I spent some time together, but now we're going to be spending some time together at PressConf, really focused in on the business side of things. I wonder if you can paint the picture of Amber back then, who maybe not have been budgeting for travel for her WordPress business, versus Amber now. Is there something where you were like, this business thing, there's something you should be asking other members, like somebody going to PressConf these days, maybe for her first time or his first time, what should they be doing to maybe get some ROI on this event? Like, how should they make this valuable for themselves, do you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think one of the things that I loved about the Pressonomics that I did attend was that it was more business focused. People maybe who are used to going to WordCamps, Pressonomics is a very different vibe. It's a single track. You actually go to the talks as opposed to hanging out in the sponsor hall the whole time, like a more savvy WordCamp attendee might never see a talk the whole time. So I would say, knowing that going in, but also being very aware of what your goals are and your objectives, because the benefit of going to a more focused business event with a more select group of individuals, I think the thing about PressConf and other conferences that actually charge, a reasonable amount and not $40 is that you're guaranteed to have a higher caliber of attendees. And that's not to say there aren't fabulous people that are going to a WordCamp for the first time, right? But when you have that, I would spend some time finding out who is going, thinking about what your goals are. Is there someone you want to learn from? Is there a struggle that you're having in your business that you can be prepared to talk about? Maybe even jot some notes down about, that I don't know if you've heard of the HELP framework, but basically you write out, what is the problem? What have I already tried? What do I think I might try next? And what do I really want to achieve? Like this very structured way of, instead of just showing up there and being like, my developers don't get their work done on time, as a random example, right?
Not that Amber's thinking
okay, well,
that.
that's not very helpful, right? So
Right.
you need to have a really detailed, that's the idea of the problem, but what's the broader, what is the problem? What have you been doing to try and address it? Those sorts of things. And maybe even looking at the attendee list and saying, hey, this is someone I know who mentors developers or mentors agencies that I could go up and talk to and say, hey, I'm having this problem. Would you be willing to sit down with me over lunch or whatever and talk through it and share some ideas? So I think if you're a first-time attendee, that's what I would really recommend, is going in with a plan. And it's not the same as other events where maybe you're going there to market. I think go there with the idea that you are going to try and get information to help you improve your business.
Yeah. This is going to be slightly different, because the temperature is a lot different these days, for WordPress, and especially with the introduction of AI. I don't know, like, we're at this weird crossroads where, I don't know when, like, the next, or how many versions of WordPress we're going to be seeing in the next couple of years. That's a scary proposition. I don't know how AI is going to impact the adoption and the excitement around WordPress. But I really hope that, if you're listening to this or watching this and you're headed to the event, that you can carve out some time with at least a one-on-one with somebody. I know, like I always say this too, like the venue's great. There's like this, I don't know, courtyard, fireplace area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like people like congregate around, like don't miss this opportunity, to be a little extroverted. I'm naturally an introvert. Like I am exhausted after talking to people, but yeah, spend a little time like breaking into a conversation, because I think that PressConf is going to be a pivotal moment for us to be in person, to kind of like navigate the crossroads.
Changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I would say, and this is something that my partner Chris and I work really hard at. So my partner Chris and I are also married. We're like life partners and business partners, for anyone who's not aware. But if you are going to PressConf with your business partner or your team, or maybe you're taking in a spouse as a +1 or whatever, do not eat with them. I'm for real.
Yeah.
This is a thing, right? Because it's so easy when I travel with my husband business partner to be just like, oh, we're just going to hang out together. But
Right.
honestly, when we go to conferences together, I consider it a successful event if I meet back up with him at the hotel room at like 10:30 p.m. and it's the first time I've seen him since 8 a.m. in the morning, right? Like, it's not a vacation. And the same thing, even if they're not like your spouse, right? Like, you don't want to spend time just with your business partner or your team. What you want to do, or even if you're going alone and you're like, oh, hey, these are my WordPress friends. If you only hang out with your WordPress friends that you see at every WordCamp and they're the only people you sit with, then you're going to be missing out. So I would try and also have a goal of every day, sit next to someone new.
Yeah.
And introduce yourself, talk about your business, and ask them about theirs.
Yeah. That's great, because that's just you framing it that way is getting me excited again to like just go there.
That's my way, Matt, of saying I'm not going to hang out with you.
Yeah. So you don't want to go for a run like we did at WordCamp US?
Yes. We are going to go for a run. You and Zach Katz made my day at WordCamp US because you're willing to run with me, and I wanted to run, and WordCamp US was in kind of a scary place.
Yeah. I just started running.
I was not going to run by myself. I would run by myself around the Tempe Mission Palms because that is a very nice area. But anyone who wants to join us, we're going to pick a day and we're going to go running.
Yeah. I'm thinking back to like US, and even though I'm employed by Gravity Forms, even then, like, part of my goal, with Gravity Forms is to walk around, talk with people, like understand what's happening, like, understand what's happening in the space, etc. Like I would find myself just like sitting down at, well, actually not this past WordCamp, the one before that was down closer to me down in DC. Like that hotel had like, I don't know, like cafes and like seating everywhere. And it was very easy for me to like sit down and be like, okay, let me just get this blog post done. Let me go through this email right here and like spend some time. And it was sort of like, I would close myself.
Being present.
Yeah, I wasn't being present. Like I was like closing myself off. I see people, hey, wave, they come over, they talk for a few minutes. But definitely being more intentional here at PressConf, I think, is going to be pivotal for folks who are looking for some success. Okay, let's just quickly talk about Equalize Digital. What's happening with you these days? You're speaking at PressConf. Can you hint at maybe what you're talking about, and maybe let the folks know what's happening with Equalize Digital?
Yeah, so I'm going to be on panel with you and some of our other friends who are, it's the podcaster panel, which is so funny because I don't think of myself as a
too bad.
podcaster.
You're in the group.
But I guess I've been podcasting for 2 years now.
Yes. And
I started live streaming on YouTube, which is sort of the fun thing. If you go to the Equalize Digital YouTube channels, just youtube.com/@Equalize Digital, on Thursdays at 11 Central, I live stream accessibility remediation.
Nice.
the WP Product Talk website, which is one of the 2 podcasts that I am in. So I guess I am a podcaster. But so we're going to have a panel towards the end. I think we're still planning what that is going to look like, but it's going to be a fun kind of recap of the whole event sort of discussion.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah. And then as far as what is new with Equalize Digital, we are working on an extension for the plugin that is an external dashboard that allows people to connect multiple sites and do a lot of very neat things that I can't talk too much about yet. But
Nice.
it's a fun challenge, I think, especially for our CTO Steve and our lead developer William, because it is not WordPress.
Oh, very nice.
So
is this something that's going to help?
App.
Is this going to be something that helps agencies or benefits agencies?
Yep. Yeah. So it's been highly requested by 2 audiences, one of which are agencies that have accessibility checker on all their client websites, and they don't want to have to go log into every single website to know what's going on with them. And also along that same line, a lot of universities and colleges where some of them have all of their sub-sites, which could be hundreds or thousands in a multi-site, but a lot of them don't. They're just all kinds of WordPress and Drupal installs. And so we're working on something to solve that.
That's fantastic. And if you're watching or listening to this and you're headed to the event, maybe Amber will give you a sneak peek. Maybe if you just meet up with her and chat with her, or at least she'll tell you a little. Maybe she'll tell you a little bit more.
You're gonna get me in trouble with Steve if you start offering that.
Maybe hinting a little bit more of the value and how they can connect. Either way, if you're an agency, you need that accessibility help to augment your team or your services. Amber is the person you need to know. She's the person you need to chat with, and especially at PressConf, pressconf.events. Check it out. The link will be in the show notes below, wherever you're watching or listening to this. PressConf events, Tempe, Arizona, April 23rd through the 26th. Amber and I will be there. We'll be on stage. I hope to see you there. Thanks for hanging out today, Amber.
Yeah, thanks for having me.